Hello, and welcome to episode 161 of Design Curious Podcast. I'm your host and mentor, Rebecca Ward. Today on the podcast, we're continuing in our series of going from dreaming to designing. Just some quick steps on how to even get your first clients, right? So today we're going to be talking about your messaging. Now that we've figured out last time we talked about your niche, now we're going to talk about your messaging and why that matters. And I'm going to give you a framework on how to make it clear and to attract your client. So let's get into that. You're now listening to Design Curious, a place where you, creative one, are here to learn about what it really is like to be an interior designer. And I'm your host and mentor, Rebecca Ward. If you're worried about how to succeed in a creative career, if you're ready to learn your next steps to become an interior designer, and if you want the satisfaction of doing something you love every day, you are in the right place. Grab a coffee, a notebook, and let's dig into today's episode. Okay, so today we are talking about what to say so your dream client says yes to you. And the question is, have you ever felt like your website or Instagram bio just isn't landing with the right people? Today, I'm going to give you a simple framework to make messaging clear and client magnetic. So let's get started. Why messaging matters. You are a victim to messaging, good and bad, in your daily life. You might try to observe some of it today, see what messaging other companies are putting forward to you. But when messaging isn't clear, people get confused and they don't buy. It needs to be clear and concise so they feel confident spending money on a specific thing that they're looking for. Now, your dream client is probably scrolling fast, and if your message isn't clear, they are going to move on. You need something that builds trust, that they feel like you get them. You need something that is building confidence so that they see the benefit of hiring you. And then you need something that builds action so that they actually book or inquire or schedule that call with you. So comparing generic messaging with clear client-centered messaging, a generic message might say interior design services for all styles. That's just way too broad and appeals to everyone, so it appeals to almost no one. Versus saying, I'm helping busy young families with their homes so that they are functional and beautiful in those busy moments. That might help them a little bit more and be like, oh, hey, yeah, she gets me because my kids are running in 5 different directions and my home is suffering through it all. So they might reach out to you because you've spoken to a problem, a pain point that they've had. So there's a 3-part messaging formula that I'm going to lay out for you. So first of all, in your messaging, you talk about who do you serve. We talked last week about niching. So since you've identified that, hopefully by now, then you know who you are serving, whether that's downsizers, whether that's people looking for a new kitchen, nurseries, aging in place, first-time home buyers. Okay, so that's the first part of your message is figuring out who you serve. Check, we've done that. Second is, how do you help them? What is the service that you're providing? Are you a remodeler? Do you love just doing remodels? Do you do full service design? Not everybody wants to do full service, but maybe you do. So you're doing full service where it's you designing and then you're furnishing and accessorizing and very turnkey. Maybe you only want to do furnishings. You don't want to deal with the construction at all. That could be a way that you help. Maybe you're really great at coming in fast and furious and doing a one-room refresh. That could be your jam. So you know the ways that you work best. Maybe you're a new build. Maybe you love taking something out of thin air and creating it. Those are the areas that you're going to talk about the way that you help your client because that's your service that you're providing. And then you want to talk, very importantly, about the results that they can expect. It needs to be tangible and emotional. The buying process, whether it's buying a service or buying an object, it's an emotional process. So it needs to be less stress, talking about how they might have less stress in their life or more time or a home that they love, living in luxury, maybe something that their neighbors will will be jealous of, depending on what motivates the client or what you really understand about the client that you're serving. This is what the result that they're going to get. So keep it short, client focused. Talk about you more than I, like what you're going to do for them. Don't say, I am going to make your home less stressful. You should say, you will feel less stressed in your home when we are done with your project. Yeah, you really want it to be all about the client. The client is the hero. You're just the guide. You're the Obi-Wan taking them through the process. When it comes to my messaging, I have updated and changed mine a lot over the years. Probably am still always tweaking it and just really refining it to make sure that I am really talking more specifically to my ideal client. And you might find also that over time it will change. Like you might discover that your client is not actually who you started out thinking it was, and that you've shifted into serving a different client. And so your messaging will need to change. So that's okay. It's a work in progress. That is what it is for me. I have been in this for 20 years and really just have not landed on one messaging, one marketing frame that lasts for longer than a couple of years. So this is going to be something that you're working on over time. Don't worry about it. Also, take advantage of ChatGPT when you are working on this. It is going to be a useful tool for you. It might not have the best ideas always, but you can help it to bounce ideas off of and tell it to go a certain direction. It's like, okay, well, if I wanted to talk more for older clients, what do you think I should do with this? And so it'll give you ideas. And if you might not like it, say, I don't like that. Let's skew it a little more towards middle-aged people or people who love color. And it just keep working with it, especially if you're a one-person show. Having the help of AI to work on your messaging at first is great because a lot of times you don't have the resources to hire a specialist to work on your messaging. But I will tell you that a lot of times when you are setting up your website and working on your marketing, those people are going to be interviewing your past clients because they want to hear what those people love to work with you on and what advantages they had out of the project. Of course, if you haven't done any projects, maybe you could interview friends and family and just say, what are some things that I do well? What are some things that you think that I might not realize I have a talent for and I take for granted? Just get some feedback from other people because perspective is going to be your friend here to help you speak to others with the right language and pinpoint the right assets and expertise that you bring to the picture. So let's talk about messaging makeovers. You can walk through some before and after examples in your bio, in your service descriptions. You can do a case study if you have any projects that you've done where, maybe you came in and, I understand a lot of you are starting out and you don't have a lot of before and afters maybe, but it can be simple, like just a corner of your room before and after. Like any improvement is going to help people's peace of mind, right? So small shifts can make a huge impact. You also want to be making sure that your messaging is making it a big impact. So review your message and make sure that it's saying exactly what you want it to say. Now, let's talk about where you're going to use this message. So you will definitely be having a website. If you don't have one, don't sweat it. We can do that in boot camp. And we are going to have an about page. So the about page usually gives a little more detail about who you are, but more than, hey, I love to go fishing on the weekends and I have a dog. It's going to be about like what your passion is, how you love to help the client, because they want to know like what's in it for me. So you might have like a little tagline on the homepage and then talk more in depth in your about page. But you're going to use a condensed version of your messaging in your Instagram bio. And you also need to have some business cards. I still use business cards. I know you can do digital ones. Not always convenient. And even if it just gets tossed, like sometimes that they get to see your logo and see your name, or it just comes up. It's great to leave behind a business card when you go to a consultation. And when you're doing networking, in-person networking, we've talked about very important part of your business building. Still having a business card, I find, is the main method of exchanging information. So there's not like a specific app you have to pay for and then collect people's information. A business card is great. They can take it back, put your email into their computer, and then toss the card. I would still get some business cards. And then you want to just make sure consistency is happening. And that's going to be key here because you want the same message everywhere. So you want your website, your Instagram, your business cards, all of that needs to be cohesive. Just like if you're designing a home, you want different rooms in the house. They can all be different functions and have a little bit different look, but it has to have an overall cohesiveness that ties it all together. Having this cohesiveness is definitely going to install confidence with your clients. When they have confidence in you, they are much more likely to say yes. If they can find that you are consistent across different platforms, you're not flighty, that you have a consistent style, then that helps them understand like, okay, yeah, they're going to give this consistency to my home. They are clear and concise, and I can trust this person, at least to start out with one project, and it could move on to more. So the challenge I have for you this week is to take a look at your Instagram bio. If you haven't set up a business Instagram, we can also do that in boot camp, but it doesn't take very long. You can always change your handle. So if you just want to put it as your name for now, that would be fine. You're definitely going to need a business Instagram page. I currently have mine. It's mostly business, and then I do a little bit of personal on it. I just decided to keep one Instagram for all the things. So the podcast, my business, my personal, it's all in one place. That's fine. Some people like to break it out. That's just more management that I didn't want to do. But yeah, take a look at your Instagram and your about page on the website. Rewrite it using the who plus how plus result formula, and then share it with me. If you would like me to take a look at it, if you feel like it looks great or it might need a little bit of tweaking, I'd be happy to take a look or just give you a compliment for putting it into action and making it so much better. So if you're just starting out, you want more tips on how to even get started, like I talked about, maybe you don't have a website. Maybe you don't have an Instagram page, or you're like, I don't even know how to even go about thinking about doing a business. I love design. I'd love to be independent, but what do I even do? That's where the boot camp comes in. So starting in January, we're going to take you from nothing to doing business in 8 weeks. And so that sounds like something you need. Go ahead and sign up on the wait list, and we'll get you going. So clear messaging is the bridge between being overlooked and being booked. So if you're just starting out, you want more tips on what I'd wish I'd known when I was starting out, you can grab my free guide. There's a link in the show notes. Plus, don't forget we have playlists made for you for new designers. It's the encouragement that I needed when I was starting out, and I know it will help you too. So you can find it all in one place, all these episodes that are geared towards the new designer. And we have other lists as well, if you can find that over on Spotify. So we're halfway through our series. We're going to have a couple more great episodes for you coming up. Next week, we'll have another great interview for you. And until then, stay creative. Thanks for listening. If you love this episode, please leave a rating and a review. This helps me reach other curious creatives like you. If you have a topic request or would like to contact me, simply head over to my website, rwarddesign.com, or email me at podcast@rwarddesign.com.